you go somewhere, it's always something popping back out.
Something
Like, I
popping
was
up.
scared to exit.
But we couldn't go too far.
There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the infinity gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Ayrton McCartney. How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I picked up another bottle of Famous Grouse today.
Oh, did you?
Hopefully, this whiskey helps my throat and voice, whatever.
Well, I mean, Grandpa's little cough medicine being what it is.
Yeah.
What you should do right now is totally put out a tweet that we're live and tag me in it and whatever, and I'll retweet it because we weren't able to play our pre-intro music for some reason. Streamlabs OBS updated while I was asleep, and well, the absolute worst.
Because of course.
So, okay. So Novelbro can hear you. Good. All right.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. So tonight we have some news articles, we've got some comic books, and generally we're a little bit on the quiet side. I'm not muted at all. Say something, Ed?
Something, Ayrton.
Okay. He should be okay. What was that? Heinbrecht can hear us fine, so I might have just made you really, really loud. I'm gonna fix that real quick. There we go.
Whittle quiet, but okay, according to Novel Bro.
I hate voice meters so much. We're gonna boost that a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Alright. Also, check general on Discord. Put a meme up for. Okay. So I'm going to shut Discord down in case it's eating bandwidth. And we're good to go there. So, tonight...
Okay, Matt says we're fine now.
Okay, good. Alright, so... Tonight we've got some news articles. Nothing major. Kind of a continuation of last week. Like I said, you've got... hey, what's going on, Cartoon? How's it going, buddy?
Einbreck. That's perfect. I love it.
You've got some repeats from last week. Everybody's still talking about Joker. Everybody's still talking about Watchmen. A couple of new things that didn't really come up generally, but all in all, nothing really exciting this week that I saw. Some interesting things, but it is what it is.
Yeah, is interesting the word?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So I haven't actually read through those articles I sent you yet. Like typical. I like to, get our first reaction to them.
Okay. You mean you're lazy? That's what you're telling me.
No, it means I forgot to look for them earlier, and
Okay.
then you reminded me while we were talking in the Discord, and I was like, oh yeah, let me go find a couple of things real quick.
Okay, that seems pretty fair. But so we've got some interesting topics to talk about. Malaysia's banned a comic book in China. We've got an allegory to Trump in the Bird of Prey comics. Got Batman is toxic ? And I think where we should start though is just kind of pick up from Monday's show where we reviewed Watchmen episode 1, because it's come out that Mr. Alan Moore wants nothing to do with the TV series, just like he wanted nothing to do with the movie.
And here comes the curse.
I mean, if we get an Alan Moore curse, will we be more or less famous? Will that garner us the sacred 1,000 subscribers?
Oh no, I meant here comes the curse for them.
Oh, okay. So, just to kick it all off, Watchmen episode 1 has been highly critically acclaimed, but it's dropped below 50% by the audience score.
As if anybody is shocked by that.
Yeah. More than 1.5 million people watched the premiere of HBO's critically acclaimed new series Watchmen. Alan Moore was not one of them. Moore, a legend of the comic book industry, has a complicated relationship with his Watchmen comic, which is widely considered to be one of the greatest achievements in the history of the medium. And I definitely agree with that. Watchmen definitely tackled some things that haven't really been approached in comics over the years. You don't really see a lot of Cold War comics outside of, maybe some Marvel Captain America or, DC Superman stories. I mean, there's a couple of things that tackle the Red Scare, but for the most part, you don't really see a lot of, like, nuclear fear comics, because comics are an escapism medium.
Right.
So. Not long after penning the original story alongside illustrator Dave Gibbons in 1986, Moore severed ties with the publisher DC Comics over what he believed would be unfair treatment. Language in his contract with DC said the right to the story would revert back to him and Gibbons once it went out of print, but Moore soon realized the publisher never intended for that to happen. So you've managed to successfully swindle me, and so I will never work for you again, he told New York Times in 2006, referring to the acrimonious? That's an interesting word. I've never seen that. End of his association with the influential comics publisher. Since then, Moore has refused to attach his name to any DC property he made. So that includes From Hell, which I think maybe we should review From Hell instead of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I didn't realize that was an Alan Moore gig.
I thought we were doing Killing Joke.
I mean, Killing Joke is much more popular than From Hell, and I really, really liked From Hell. And maybe I can hold out and get the Killing Joker on to talk about Killing Joke still.
Fair enough.
So, Novel Bro in the chat, I'm drunk, so fuck it, LOL. I would like to give Alan Moore the eternal fear of Scotsmen with hair trimmers. The eternal fear. Good. I couldn't blame the guy for not liking any movie adaptations of his work. No, definitely not. Alan Moore being the wizard that he is, like, to swindle a wizard, that just doesn't seem like good odds. That's just me talking, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as bad as swindling a gypsy, right?
You can't say that anymore, I don't think. I'm not sure what the politically correct word is.
Oh, you can't?
No. And he also did V for Vendetta.
Person of Eastern European descent that
Is historically nomadic.
is a nomadic.
Yeah. There you go. That'll work.
God, that's a mouthful.
Since the mid-2000s, he hasn't allowed film adaptations of the work he still controls. He also refused to be associated with adaptations of work that he doesn't control, like Watchmen, quoting, my comic book is a comic book. Or, my book is a comic book, not a movie, not a novel. A comic book, he told Entertainment Weekly in 2005. Quote, it's been made in a certain way, designed to be read a certain way. End quote. In the HBO show... Oof. Not a good look, Dave Gibbons. Not a good look at all.
He's gonna get cursed.
No shit. HBO's Watchmen is excellent as it is. Really excellent. 43% audience rating is excellent.
It's that high?
Yeah, no shit. Like, I don't expect it to stay that way.
Yeah.
Not to be controversial or anything, but I think that
we would never be controversial on this channel.
I think that anywhere near 50% that it gets is only in relation to maybe 13% of the actual watching public. But
I'd be interested to see how the viewership tapers off after the first episode.
I mean, it really depends on how they take it. Like I said, if it keeps its core audience, which at this point is not Watchmen fans, it's people that are happy that it virtue signaled for an admitted atrocity that happened in 1921, that for some reason or another is just omitted from American history, even though it's a real event, apparently.
Yeah.
So, apparently we're talking about V in the Discord now, Sargon's first in command. Long time I've seen that name. Like, what's that guy been up to? He hasn't even really been on the kill stream.
Stolen by the gypsies.
Didn't we just have this conversation?
Damn it.
Anyway, HBO's Watchmen, as excellent as it is, apparently, it raises questions about the ethics of playing around with someone else's creation without their permission. It's putting the debate about creator rights back into the spotlight at a time where a huge portion of the most successful TV shows and films are thriving off the backs of their originators. There is no version of Watchmen that I could make to please him, said Davian Lindoff, the showrunner of the HBO series. Not only that, but there's no version of Watchmen I could make that he would ever watch. I think that's probably just you. You probably could just be like, hey, yo, dog, we made this movie. You should totally watch it and give us your honest opinion and videotape it. Lindelof's Watchmen series does not directly adapt Moore's story, but rather tells a new one that takes place in the present-day version of the fictional world. Fictional? Fictional.
Fictitious or fictional? I don't think you can mix those two together.
I mean, I can do what I want. This is my show. I will fire you. That's already been
Well,
established.
I just assumed that they were bad at spelling and they did it.
So, the fictional world Moore and Gibbons first created 3 decades ago. So Watchmen's over 30 years old at this point. And to put a movie from that universe in current day without Alan Moore's input, I mean, that basically confirms what I talked about on Monday, where I said, if this show just wasn't dressed in Watchmen, linens, then it wouldn't be a Watchmen show. You name this show something else, you take away all the blatant imagery from Watchmen, and nobody's going to compare these two shows.
Right. I mean, why you got to call it Watchmen?
Well, not even that. Like, even a Watchmen fan isn't going to put 2 and 2 together from what they saw on the season premiere that this is a Watchmen show, unless you had a Rorschach mask, unless you had, like, the blatant imagery on the TV screens and the smiley faces and the eggs and all that shit. But
yeah, the squids raining down.
That was just weird. I didn't understand that. Like, you're really telling me the smartest man in the world isn't going to account for the possibility that squids might persevere?
You would think so.
I mean, he's Adrian Veidt. He prepared for the most powerful man in the world to discover what he was doing and kill him. So.
Apparently he's the dumbest, smartest man in the world.
Yes, Novel Bro. Most of us will be 50 or older in 20 years. That's,
jeez.
Yeah.
Don't remind me that.
I'm older than you.
Fairly.
Matt Christie apparently will be 50 in less than 5 years, so man up. While a few of more characters and concepts return, the HBO show is very much its own thing. The legality of its existence certainly is not in question, though. Moore has long since given up the hope or caring about what Watchmen rights will be reverted back to him. The story legally belongs to DC Comics, a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, which also owns HBO. But the ethics are another question, one Lindelof considers often. He reveres Moore and understands why some of the writer's acolytes will decide not to watch the show out of respect for his creator. In a wide-ranging interview with Vulture, Lindelof acknowledged the inherent hypocrisy of wanting to honor Moore's story while knowingly disregarding his wishes. What are the ethical ramifications of even existing at all when I completely and totally side with his creator? I acknowledge that the creator has been exploited by a corporation, and now the very same corporation is basically compensating me to continue this thing. I ask, is it even hypocrisy? Yes! Yes is fucking hypocrisy. When you go against something you feel is morally wrong, that is hypocrisy. Either that or being a fucking sellout. So you're either a hypocritical shill or just a shill, which is almost worse. But yes, Mr. Creator of Lost, you're fucking up. You're creating something that you have 100% chance of losing viewership by the end of season 1.
Really that low?
Anyway, I ask, is it easy? Then I say, as a fan, where would I come down on this thing if someone else was doing it? If I heard someone else was doing an HBO series called Watchmen that was not a strict adaptation of the book, I felt that I'd be really angry about it, and and then I'd watch it. Laughs. Of course you would. I wonder how many of these angry people who don't think it should exist will actually have the discipline to not even watch it. Those people. And I
Yeah.
feel like our
I
take
mean,
was pro, and it might have actually been successful. I mean, you'd say
what they
one
should have
point.
just named it another show.
Yeah. Not Watchmen. This shouldn't exist, and I'm literally not watching it. That's an admirable position. Says the guy creating the show.
Yeah.
I don't get this generation of people that are like, I don't think my content should be consumed by people that don't like it. I think they should totally not watch it. I'm not going to pander to them. I'm not going to advertise to them. This isn't for them. Where did that attitude come from? When did people stop hating money?
I mean, South Park, technically, the disclaimer at the end of it at the beginning says this show should not be viewed by anybody.
I mean, that's not untrue, though. The history of comics is replete with... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously they were being satirical about it, making fun of TV censors and whatnot, but, you know, satire these days doesn't really exist. You know, you can't satirize what's going on anymore because it's just true.
Well, you're not wrong, but... The history of comics is replete with writers adapting, appropriating, and remixing other writers' comics or characters. Most of today's most. I feel like that's just not grammatically correct. Prominent comic book
Have you
heroes
noticed?
Huh?
Sorry to interrupt again, but have you noticed that these journalists nowadays are horrible at writing in the English language?
Yes. Well, that's because they're all Russian.
Okay.
They're all Russian bots. Didn't you know that?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
But most of today's prominent comic book heroes, from Batman to Spider-Man to Wonder Woman, have been transformed countless times throughout the years, both in comics and also outside of them in other media. Moore himself used characters created by other writers several times throughout his illustrious career, though some of them were in the public domain, and none of these uses, as far as we can tell, violated the wishes of the character's creators. Blah, 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 blah. In fact, many of the masked heroes in Moore's Watchmen were based on characters originally from Charlton Comics, which is true.
Yeah, based on.
Yeah. Which had just been acquired by DC when Moore started conceiving the idea. Some were created by Steve Ditko, who'd later go on to co-create Marvel superhero Spider-Man with the late Stan Lee. In an interview about Watchmen's origins with the Comics Journal in 1987, Moore was candid about his desire to appropriate these characters in his own story. I just thought that they were all lying around up for grabs, and I hadn't heard of anything else that was being done with them, he said. And they were just a nice, innocent little bunch of characters, in which always felt fair game, really. It was a self-contained universe with 4 or 5 characters, and I thought it'd be nice to just take that and do whatever you wanted with it. Which, I mean, is pretty much how shit goes with Marvel and DC as it stands, right?
Yeah.
Comics have never been afforded the same cultural status as other art forms, leading to all sorts of ethical issues about if and how that work should get used and referenced by others. Roy Lichtenstein, for instance, became one of the most influential pop artists of the 20th century, largely by copying panels from comic books without ever crediting the original artist. Comic publishers have spent decades in legal battles with their heirs of the creators of some of the most iconic characters like Superman and the Avengers over fair compensation for their use. Which, I mean, we've seen in Bill Finger, we've seen in Stan Lee, we've seen in, Jim Shooter, we've seen in Steve Ditko, we've seen in I mean, pretty much everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even Ethan Van Sciver gets, scooped out of his royalties on the fact that he created multiple other Lantern Corps and shit like that.
Right. I mean, it's like, Motown singers back in the 60s. Right? They're just being taken advantage of. They're young, naive.
I mean, this is a comic book channel. You're going to have to go deeper than that.
Oh, Barry Gordy, who started Motown, he would take singers and be like, "Oh, you have like 12 really good songs. Here, I'll give you $50 for them." And they'd be like, "Oh, well, thanks, Mr. Gordy."
Well, I mean, that guy had parentheses around his name, so what do you expect? Right?
I said Gordy, not Gordonstein. I mean, what?
I mean, that's probably just so that people didn't know going on later, but
He changed his name when he came over.
that's right. In 1988, a group of independent comic writers and artists drafted the Creator Bill of Rights designed to help protect the ownership over material they created and avoid being exploited financially by publishers. This is impossible with the big two, and I'm going to kind of go off on a rant here, if that's okay with you. We should address the chat
I love your
real
rants.
quick. Matt Christie and Novel Bro are all of my passwords are protected by amnesia. If you still have strength to fight the aging process, my dad is 52 and goes wild boxing in the gym. Grammatically separates current standard. We're talking about dads. I can outwork anyone twofold. Okay. Nobody's asked anything that I need to answer yet, but if you're working for Marvel, DC, probably any major publisher, and I even go so far as to say like Dark Horse or IDW,
Yeah.
it's almost guaranteed that in your contract there's going to be some kind of clause that you're never going to own anything you create for them. Some companies only have you work with established characters, so you don't really have to worry about that. The work you create is done under licensing of that character because that character is already owned by Marvel and DC. But let's say you're writing Spider-Man, just for shits and giggles, right? And you're writing Spider-Man, and you've got a nice long, let's say 30-issue run. You've got 5 trades worth of Spider-Man to write in your contract. In 5 trades, you're probably going to create some characters. Even if they're just like side characters that are introduced for one issue as plot devices. Or, just ideas that you've had since you were a kid that you just wanted to slip into a story because you finally made it and you're writing Spider-Man for the first time. Everything of your original design that you put on a piece of paper for any of these corporations is theirs. So says your contract. There's no question of it. There's no, I created this, can I get a piece of it? I mean, maybe if you're Ethan Van Sciver and a 25-year veteran of the comic book industry when you do it, maybe they'll give you a...
Disney's the same way.
Disney owns Marvel Comics.
Anything you... I mean, like, if you're an artist for Disney proper, like anything you draw, I'm pretty sure even like at all, anything you create, even if you're not like in the studios, as long as you're employed by them, is owned by them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so I've been tagged. Let's see here. If anyone is working for any corporation, especially one as large as what we're talking about, they're nothing more than cattle to their companies. Yeah. I read it, Matt Christie. Calm down. I mean, I don't doubt that whatsoever. Spider-Man right now is kind of at an all-time low, I think. And
yeah, J.J. Abrams.
God. I mean, that's just such a gimmick, right? Like, today I was reading through
Yeah.
comic books, and, let me finish this article up.
Yeah.
Moore was one of the artists writers leading the charge for work for hire practices back in the 80s. Considering how much Hollywood today still runs on appropriating the work of other, court member exclusive, which is that article there that we're not going to click on. Comic book writers and artists. Oh no, we clicked on it. That's not what I wanted. Oh no, I hate everything.
And we're fucked.
Basically, Alan Moore really kind of hates the idea of I wanted to work monkey for Disney, be a work monkey for Disney when I was growing up. Mrs. Church in the chat. I don't know. I think Daniel works for Disneyland or Disney World. Cartoon. Imagine being able to one day do hearts and mind business in the economic corporate model. It's just so workable, but hoarders hoard, and that's just how it goes, sadly, especially when CEOs want the suck. Okay. If I wrote Spider-Man, I'd kill off the entire Marvel Comics universe just to thumb the nose at Marvel. I'd make them fire me. Yeah, you just incorporate Magneto into the story, and Spider-Man's antics become so annoying that Magneto decides that he's going to encase the entire planet within 1/4 inch of the Earth's surface in metal. Yes, Cartoon's been doxxed, like he doxed himself on on Twitter all the time. I didn't dox Cartoon. Please clarify that. That's going to get clipped out. But
Yeah, he did not dox Cartoon.
I learned all of this from his public Twitter account at Cartoon. Check him out, by the way. He's climbing up on, what is it, almost 1,300 followers or more. You passed me, you bastard. The guy that gives you your first commission, you just go and pass in Twitter followers. What are you like, popular or something? But yeah, anything you create for any of these companies, it's not yours. It's never going to be yours. You're never going to see anything from it. Anything you do is done in their name. And, I honestly am kind of sad. I'm kind of upset that we're never going to get to see what Alan Moore's vision of the Watchmen future is going to be because Disney won't give him the story back.
You mean Warner?
Right, Warner. Sorry. DC. But
Oh, Cartoon says you're too kind.
I gave him a heart.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little bit late and gay today because the audio wasn't working. So you sent me a couple of articles, and I need to go get some ice. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these up. You want Batman is Toxic or Bird of Prey?
They both sounded awful.
Let's do Birds of Prey so that I can hear Batman is Toxic once I get some ice.
All right. I don't know how me scrolling through this is going to work on the screen, but we'll
Go
support.
Go ahead and talk about it. If you start it, I'll be back in just a second. So.
Yeah. McGregor, Birds of Prey's Black Mask is for the time of that's the word in that title. Ewan McGregor calls his Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn villain Roman Sionis / Black Mask as emblematic of the time of Trump, quote unquote. He is an absolute narcissist, spoiled in his upbringing to the point of having no contact with what life or people are about, who has a skin this thin and wants nothing more than to be the center of attention, McGregor told Men's Journal. He's an incredible villain because he's so likable and he's so seducing, added co-star Chris Messina, who plays Black Mask's sidekick, Victor Zaja. You're like, I like him. He's cute. He's fun.
You're talking
being
about
in
Victor
his,
Zaz?
It's fun being in his world. And then, huh?
You're talking about Victor Zaz?
Oh, I thought Zaza.
No, man. This is not the 70s.
I thought that's how you say that.
Okay, so
Wow.
you've got Bird of Prey, the Fantabulous. Did they say Fantabulous, really?
Yeah.
And you're getting on me
Yeah.
for fictional?
I wasn't getting on you. I was getting on, that's what it said. Anyways. And then he'll bite your leg off. He has these incredible turns of violence, this ferocious quality. There are a couple of moments in the movie where he rages. He really went there, and you could hear a pin drop. Then he would turn on a dime and go back to the charm of the character.
So wait a second. You've got an incredible villain, Chris Messina, who plays Black Mask sidekick Victor Zaz, and you're like, I like him. He's cute. It's fun. Wait, this is not. I'm sorry, Victor Zaz. He's a murderer that cuts his skin, if I'm not mistaken. He puts a notch in his skin every time he murders someone. How is that fucking cute? I'm sorry.
This movie's gonna suck, isn't it?
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a movie.
Oh God. Okay. In comic book, Black Mask is a sadistic mob boss whose face is bonded with a black skull-faced mask, a look McGregor hasn't been sporting in the Birds of Prey footage we've seen so far. Well, he also has a flesh mask that he puts over his face so that he can conduct business. Focuses on Harley Quinn as she teams with Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya, a.k.a. The Question. After the New 52, Renee Montoya with the fucking question. Why not give her the fucking mantle? It actually worked. It's one of the few female characters you guys have created in the past goddamn decade. It's fucking good, and you're not using her. And I don't understand why. Maybe because you're more interested in the fact that Renee Montoya is a lesbian instead of a good goddamn superhero. Who's the goddamn egg on their face now? Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I got a little carried away.
I wanted you to keep going.
Okay. I've got the entire trade collection of 52. And
yeah,
much like I enjoyed what they did with Rebirth, now they're rebooting the universe again. I don't fucking understand why DC does this. They get good things going and they're like, well, we can't make this keep going. We can't just keep making money.
Yeah, let's fuck it.
So, I don't know.
I just want to know why with these goddamn movies, goddamn TV shows, whatever.
Goddamn
why
reboots.
Does it always have to lead back? Yeah, why does it always have to lead back? Oh, this is what we need in the time of Trump. You know, you realize that he loves the fact that he lives rent-free in your guys' brains, right? Like, you're literally playing into the thing that he enjoys is the fact that he's there drives you crazy.
Oh yeah.
He sits there at night and laughs about it.
Yeah.
Everything you guys do, you're bitching on Twitter, all this stuff. He thinks it's hilarious.
It is. It is fucking hilarious.
It is. I mean, it is hilarious. I mean, and you play into it every single time when he tweets the picture saying, "Don't worry, Greenland, we won't do this to you," and puts a picture of a golden Trump tower in a small Greenland village after he offered to buy it.
Well, it's almost like I was getting in.
That's hilarious.
Well, it's almost like I was getting into earlier, right? Earlier today, you and I were looking over 6 potential comics to review tonight if we have time after the news articles. It really depends on how many more times I go off. We only have 3 articles left to go through, so.
So at least 3 more times.
Probably. But, you know, while we were looking, and we might go a little bit long, I don't know. You got to play in the morning, though, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, no? No? Okay. I'm going to make you fucking record tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be around.
So. No, we were reading comics earlier, and one of the ones that I sent to you, Crazy #1. And that was released last week, but I was going to give you the opportunity to look at it until I read it. I mean, you can still look at it, but...
yeah, I probably will.
You know, it's basically a knockoff of Mad Magazine in comic book form, and it's just a bunch of random comic pages. It kind of reminded me of how Johnny the Homicidal Maniac was laid out when we read that.
I can dig it.
But it just... What's Ayrton 1000% correct on? I missed the part about you being right. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, you're just ignoring it.
Probably. I probably just don't understand. Like, it probably just doesn't compute and complete in my brain. But what were you right about? Like, I'm curious about that. But anyway, no, I just we were reading that, and one of the ads was kind of funny. It was like an old school comic book ad, and fuck it, I can just pull it up, right? I have the technology.
Might as well.
Why describe it when I can show you guys? I mean, people listening on future podcast episodes, I'm sorry, but I'll describe it once I get it pulled up. Come on, Matt Christie, you got to tell us what Ayrton was right about. I don't know. I sounded like I was 12. What? Don't do this to me. That's just not nice. Oh no, it wasn't this one.
Or like my dog when she brings me her ball, but she doesn't actually want me to take it, and she's like, "No, don't take the ball, but throw it."
Right.
But don't take it from me. Make sure you throw it though.
Right. I don't know what you... Oh, no, it was Count Crowley that I was looking at. And... Was it? It was... Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, here we go. Also, if we don't have an idea for later on this week, we totally have to do this one. But down there in the bottom corner of the screen, check out the 2-for-1 monster mask. Oh, about Trump and the way he deals with shit, yeah. Well, Ayrton didn't make it by the comic book store, so he was at my leisure of what we reviewed tonight, if we got to reviews, because we're 45 minutes into the show and only 2 articles in, but where's the goddamn screen?
Yeah.
It should be up. Why
yeah, I'd hope my
tab
move a wall 7 feet over, so...
I saw an
Took a
article.
little bit longer than I expected. Anyways, continue.
Fat neck, get my book straightened out. Tell me how to run my show. I'll be a drunken stupor if I want to be. It's kind of my gig. Firing Ayrton, being drunk. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
But check out the mask in the 2-for-1 section. You notice anything interesting? I guess I'll pull up the screen share for you, buddy.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah, but you can see it better here. There you go.
Okay, hold on. There you go.
You got a devil, a skeleton, a werewolf, like a zombie with a bandage type thing, a Frankenstein, and a Donald Trump.
Oh, jeez.
They just had to slip that in there, right?
Is there a way? I don't know. I saw, since the Watchmen show came out, I forget where I saw it, but apparently they have like Rorschach masks that when you breathe, there's like heat activated ink, so like the ink block on the mask actually moves.
Well, it
in
changes,
reaction to how you breathe through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you breathe
I wonder
through
if there's
your
a way you
nose
could
or your
like
mouth, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's some way you could like get one of those like rubber Trump masks and then like put one of the Rorschach masks over top of it and then just go as like full like fuck you to the left for Halloween.
No, you just dress up in the trench coat and the hat, with the full ensemble, except you're wearing a Trump mask instead of a Rorschach mask. Maybe you have like Rorschach blackface on the Trump mask.
See, but then you'd be going as Justin Trudeau.
Not if you didn't do your hands.
True. If you didn't sing Deo. Deo. Deo.
Hey, don't get us copywritten.
That's it. I'm going as I'm going to go as Justin Trudeau for Halloween.
Fantastic.
Wear an afro, do the blackface and hands.
And feet and legs. Ewan McGregor's the kind of guy who'd sit down at Burger King and put his Whopper in his pocket. Ewan McGregor's the kind of guy who'd masturbate in his car to hide his mess from his wife. Make a Trump mask work like a Rorschach mask. The blackface only appears when you breathe. Oh, God. How are we not banned yet? That's what I want to know.
I really don't know.
So, we've got some more stuff to talk about. Oh, no. That's no good. I gotta find a color source here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we gotta put a background behind this. Add YouTube. Uh-oh. Now,
we're so good at this, folks.
Yeah. There we go. Now we can see it. No. Not what I wanted.
Oh.
Hey. Alright. Netflix Umbrella Academy risk running out of source material. We all saw what that did to Game of Thrones, right? Also, look at this person on the end here. Who was she from?
Right? By the X?
No, by the N. Who was that? One with the giant forehead, the six head
chick.
Yeah, she was in another movie about a baby or something.
Yeah, the pregnant teenager movie that everyone went crazy for was really just stupid.
Yeah. can't remember her name.
Juno.
But I can't remember her name. Anyway.
Juno, right?
Well, that's the movie, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, the Umbrella Academy first season proved to be a huge success for Netflix. And I've got to admit, it got some of the things right, I guess. After 5 books, and the shit's been over for almost a year, right? Like, we covered the ending on this show. It hasn't been a year. It's been over for almost half a year, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just kind of went to pot after season 5. And it was 8 seasons. So let's hope that doesn't happen here.
I mean, I thought it went to shit after like episode 3.
Game of Thrones?
But yeah,
you're just an old man in a young man's body.
I got 3 episodes in and got so bored.
Well,
like, this is stupid.
It gets better. They have to.
That's what people say. But
literally, season 1. Literally,
season about boobs and dragons boring.
Literally, season 1 is a setup season. It's like an intro episode, a premiere of sorts.
For an entire goddamn season.
Yes. That's how big the story is. I'm not even bullshitting. I've been listening to the audiobooks, and it's taken me 3 weeks to get through 4 books.
Jeez.
So, anyway. Based around the superhero misadventures of the adopted Hargreaves siblings, The Umbrella Academy is a TV adaptation of a comic book written by My Chemical Romance's Gerard Way and artist Gabriel Ba. With the quirky gothic sense of humor and an unconventional take on the superhero genre, unconventional is a little excessive at this point because deconstructionism and the breakdown of the superhero is basically the mainstay comic fare of the day. Not gonna bullshit. Yeah. Like, people kind of need to get over themselves. But, whatever. We'll deal with it. The Umbrella Academy's first season saw the siblings forced to fight one of their own. The usually downtrodden Vanya is revealed to be the most powerful of all the Hargrave children, threatened to end the world with a deadly violin recital.
It was a little bit more than that, in the book at least, but go on.
The Umbrella Academy, well, mainly the reason that I wanted to look at this is because almost half a year after the first season of Umbrella Academy, they still don't have an announcement date for the second season, even though it's been greenlit.
Yeah.
The Umbrella Academy's first season proved to be a huge success on Netflix, but the series could run out of source material. Did I just read this? For the vast majority of comic book, for the vast majority of comic book to TV adaptations, there is a wealth of source material to work from. Marvel and DC shows obviously have decades of back issues to trawl through. The Walking Dead is currently in its 10th season, still working from Robert Kirkman's now completed comic series. And comics such as Preacher and The Boys are already long finished by the time they made it to TV, giving producers and writers set start, middle and end point, and the clear idea of how much story they had to work with. Never one to follow the rule book, the situation is very different with the Umbrella Academy. Well, I mean, I disagree in following the rule book. I mean, Umbrella Academy is good. It's a good story. I enjoyed it. It was different.
Yeah.
But saying that it doesn't follow the rule book is kind of, disingenuous.
No, it still does. Have to save the world.
I mean, if I had to compare Umbrella Academy to anything, it's a book that I'd eventually like to cover on this show called Irredeemable.
Yeah.
Which is written. Yeah, it's written by Mark Waid, and it's one of my favorite comic book stories. But it's about a group of superheroes that are supposed to be like the Justice League Avengers of their universe. After the Superman of their universe goes insane and evil. But what are you gonna do? Yeah. So we might compare that to the Umbrella Academy and the tropes that are used and whatnot at the time when we do that one.
Fair enough.
The main comic book series is split into 3 volumes: Apocalypse Suite, Dallas, and Hotel Oblivion. I don't think we've reviewed Hotel Oblivion yet. We've got to get Denny back on to look at Hotel Oblivion.
Yeah, we didn't get through that one.
Broadly speaking, the Apocalypse Suite storyline is covered in Season 1 of the Netflix series, charting Vanya's transformation to the White Violin and the Academy's attempt to prevent Apocalypse. Season 1 also incorporates several plot points from Dallas, namely the cat and mouse chase between the Commission and Number 5, as well as Klaus's unexpected trip to Vietnam. As a result, the Umbrella Academy has only 1.5 volumes worth of material remaining heading into its second season. There are some fights from the Apocalypse Suite that can still be translated to TV, but Gerard Way has previously indicated that Season 2 would mostly be based around Dallas, which also features a second apocalypse and Kennedy assassination. Yet, even if the Umbrella Academy Season 2 manages to avoid delving into Hotel Oblivion material, only a single volume will be left to adapt to a potential Season 3. A collection of Umbrella Academy short stories and one-shots have been published, but those might prove tricky to work into the main story.
Okay, can I just say, what's the problem with making a short-run TV show that's only 3 seasons long, following the 3 main volumes that we have of the story?
Well, look, do you
Why do
stop?
TV shows have to be like 18 seasons long anymore? You're not the goddamn Simpsons.
Well, look,
Get over yourself.
Do you want to stop getting a paycheck after 3 years? Because that's what it boils down to.
No. Well, I'm kind of. I mean, actors, writers, directors, they're not working on just one thing at a time.
Sometimes they are. And sometimes that paycheck is better than others.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix tends to write pretty hefty paychecks, I gotta say. They are the #1 streaming source on the internet.
Well, then don't spend all your Netflix money on hookers and blow, and you might be able to last out for like 6 to 8 months while you find another project to work on.
What is this not spending money on hookers and blow? I don't
At least for that
understand what you just
time
said.
period when you're not getting paid.
I don't understand what you just said. If you have money, you spend it on hookers and blow. Right? Chat, back me up here.
I mean, don't back him up on that.
That's your first official vote in the chat. 1 for hookers and blow, 2 for air no fun zone. The reason for this lack of material is a huge gap between Dallas and Hotel Oblivion. The Umbrella Academy's first and second comic volumes were released steadily between 2007 and 2009, but the first issue of Hotel Oblivion was released as recently as October 2018, a year ago, finishing the following summer. There are a number of factors behind this extended delay. Gerard Way's music career is perhaps the most obvious. Fortunately, and despite persistent rumors of My Chemical Romance reunion, Way has confirmed work on a 4th volume of Umbrella Academy is underway. It might arrive in time to offer Netflix series a little more breathing space. From a slightly less encouraging point of view, Netflix interest in the Umbrella Academy perhaps came because of the limited source material, not despite it. The streaming service has a habit of canceling shows around 3-season mark. With 3 volumes of material to draw from, perhaps this was the early intention for the Umbrella Academy. I mean, that's not bad, though. That's good business.
Yeah.
Now that the adventures of the
Well,
Hargrave
apparently you're
siblings...
winning here.
Am I?
Yeah. Novel Bro gave you an eternal one,
Okay.
and Fatneck gave you
A line of ones.
looks like 27 ones in a row.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah.
Tywin Lannister is a true great. Only Charles Dance could play the character so faithfully. I 100% agree on that one. It was good. The Lannister lion eats all the other stallions. We don't balk in the face of the great stag. I mean, he almost talked like Trump. You see, this is going to be the greatest house. We live on a gold mine, a literal gold mine. I'm going to build my towers out of gold. It's the greatest. They're going to be the best towers. Hookers and blower for pussies, heroin and girls with meth mouth are all the way. I mean, meth mouth, they do have left teeth. So, I mean, you know,
I mean, they do.
I don't think I want gingivitis on my cock, though.
But, yeah, well, and see, when your teeth start rotting away, you could have like sharp edges, and then you could get a cut, and then you could get some weird infection in your dick.
What the fuck even is this show?
Gotta watch out for that.
I try to keep up with everything, but I like different stuff from my husband for the most part. My knowledge isn't nearly what his is on the subject. I gotta scroll up to see what that's all about. Mrs. Church apparently hated the show. I almost didn't bother with the comic until I reviewed it, yeah. Oh, man, yeah. I have about what's close to zero knowledge, but I get to learn a lot of good lore. This really gets my mind working. Not just comics, I don't know. This is just fun and relaxing. Well, I appreciate that, man. That's kind of what it's all about.
Well, thank you.
Final, Al built my own theme park with hookers and blow. Yes. The lion does not trouble itself with the opinions of sheep. That is absolutely true, Novel Bro. Exactly the kind of discussion I was attempting to foster. You're welcome, chat. Oh, Jesus Christ. What even is this show anymore?
I mean, now, if we were to ever get to like, kill stream levels or something, we would have to just throw cash aside, like in a vault, and open Church of Failure land, which would be our own theme park with hookers and blow.
Absolutely, 100%. So,
and every single water fountain would just dispense scotch.
So we couldn't admit children at all, is what you're telling me.
Yes, exactly.
That's just a bad business decision. Now the adventure of the... Oh, God. I did it again! Every time it's one of my articles, I do it. I click on a fucking link. I don't even know how I do that. I hate everything. Fuck you. You have another article. And this is the Batman is Toxic article. And this is the one that I'm most interested in.
Let me get over to it. All right.
Have no trespassing signs that say "Stay back, stay back."
So,
with Andy's face. I have that meme. I'll put it in the Discord
or
after
we
the
would
show.
just have.
Hell, I can put it in the Discord.
Or we could just hire Matt Christie to sit on a rocking chair on just a random porch before you get to the gates, and he just shouts, "Get off my lawn, you kids!"
Absolutely. So,
with one of those jugs that just has 3 X's on it that he can just drink out of all day.
So you sent me this. Tony Isabella called Batman toxic. Says character ruined DC Comics. Why did you send me this? Why did you send me a fucking bleedy cool link? Like, I hate you a little bit for this. I'm tempted to fire you now. Have I fired you yet today?
It would make you...
Ninja,
I saw the title and I figured it would make you mad and you would go off on an amusing rant.
Ninja, fuck you. You're fired. You get out of my Samurai's trailer park and you just get fired. You know what? You know what? I saw a clip earlier this week. Maybe I should bring the link up. I saw a clip earlier this week from from my Twitter. It was on a DC animated TV show.
Just play the clip from Ricada that you clipped out there. Honestly, that's where I thought you were going to go with that.
I mean, I could. I don't. Go ahead. This is your article. You're supposed to go
All
off.
right.
Go off, King.
I thought you were going to play something.
Well, I am, but
Anyways, Black Lightning creator. Okay, I'll go with it. Black Lightning creator Tony. Why are you doing that? Isabella isn't known for holding back his opinions. Lovely, but his latest social media posts about DC Comics is sure to spark some disagreements. Isabella let his fans know not to invite him to join any Facebook groups or visit any pages that have anything to do with Batman. According to Isabella, the Cape Crusader used to be one of his favorite characters, but Isabella now considers the Dark Knight, quote, toxic, and blames him for the ruination of DC Comics. Isabella feels that Batman, being the, quote, center of DC's universe, hurts their other characters, meaning that nobody knows who Black Lightning is nor cares, and he's butthurt about it.
Look,
needs to
Black
take
Knight
that
didn't Black Lightning
Black dildo out of his ass.
That wasn't Black Lightning. That was Black Goliath. Black Goliath died in Marvel. Black Lightning is a DC character. So continue.
Yeah, I think they made a TV show. Anyways, God, this article for Man, Batman Beyond, The Batman's Grave, and Batman and the Batmen of Batsville. We also can't forget Batman and the Outsiders, a title also starring Black Lightning, which Isabella has taken issue with in the past. Batman, God damn it, how many times are they putting the word Batman in this article?
Look, they're SEOing the shit out of it.
Part of the cast
okay.
of Justice League. Huh?
They're SEOing the fuck out of it. Okay.
Apparently, and appeared in extended series such as Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul, Batman: Curse of the White Knight, Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child, and Crisis of Infinite Batmans? Shouldn't it be Batmen?
No.
Anyways,
Crisis of Infinite Batman.
In various Bat family titles and playing a role in Event Leviathan, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? Is Isabella on the money? Are you tired of Batman as well? No one cares. So what do you're way more versed in DC than I am. I mostly just read like Green Lantern from them as far as like the mainstay superheroes. So really I did kind of want to get your take on that if he's just a butthurt little British cigarette. Because that's kind of how I took it.
So I think that this guy is basically experiencing what I experienced with Spider-Man storylines, right? I mean, you don't need 8 ongoing Spider-Man titles at any given time, and the fact that DC has basically become the Batman verse, it's kind of troubling. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Even though, you know, the Avengers comic, unless Wolverine is an Avenger at the time, doesn't tie into Wolverine. You know, Ghost Rider doesn't usually deal with Wolverine. Even if there are 8 ongoing Wolverine titles or miniseries or whatever at the same time. I feel like DC's kind of missed the mark. You've got Justice League, which Batman is a member of. You've got Batman, you've got Batgirl, you've got Batman Beyond, you've got the Red Hood, you've got Nightwing, you've got Batman and Robin, you've got Batman and Superman. It's a little bit too much. I actually have to agree with Bleeding Cool here. Like, it's a whiny little article, and the average consumer is just going to buy what they enjoy. Like, you and I, we might buy every issue 1 of a Batman comic coming out like we're doing the X-Men books right now. But, you know, once we get to issue 2 or 3 of one of these Batman books, and let's just take Batman Beyond, for example. I like the cartoon series, but unlike a patron might make me read it. But currently, I look at Batman, I look at Detective Comics, and I might read a Batman and Superman issue if I can get it on a discount as a damaged copy. But there's just too much Batman in the DC universe. I used to make a joke about Batman being in the new X-Men show, in 8 titles in DC Comics, being a character in Scooby-Doo that week, and showing up on the Power Rangers. But that's kind of what it's fucking turned into.
I mean, they did just do or they are doing the Batman Ninja Turtles cartoon movie or something like that.
Isn't that wouldn't that be the 3rd or 4th iteration of Batman and Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I mean,
because I've got 2
other
6-issue
random
series
media
of
that's
them.
coming out.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're doing it. They're doing it again. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that. So, what do I have?
But at the same time, this Tony Isabella does come off as just a whiny little bitch because nobody cares about Black Lightning.
Well, I actually disagree.
Right?
No, I disagree. Because I have this. I have this to pull up.
Uh-oh.
And this says, go ahead and zap me, and Black Lightning sitting on top of her saying, and then she says, absorbing lightning's my thing. And then he says, you've never had Black Lightning before. And then he puts her hand on her head and holds her arm behind her and is in a very prone position. And it says, screams. And then black.com is linked in the bottom corner.
Jesus Christ.
And then someone linked this.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm gonna look at the link here. Oh no, that's not what I want. I want the link.
Uh-oh.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I can do this. Let's see. Copy link. There we go.
Did we break it?
No, we didn't break it. We're good. We're good.
Oh, okay.
New
No, but
source.
seriously, I don't really. Is Black Lightning? Is that the grown-up Static Shock character? Is that who that is?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But again, I don't know. It's never been a character that I really read a lot about. So,
Because I remember the Static Shock cartoon back in the day. That was
I watched
pretty cool. He was a cool character.
I watch that pretty often. But yeah, that happened word for word. For some reason, no audio is coming through. Let me see what's going on here.
Because of course it's not. Sit tight, folks, while we boomer this up.
Absolutely, 100%. Close.
This will never be taken out of context. Ship it out, says cartoon.
Oh, woo! Werewolf of London.
Black Trician. Oh, that's such a better superhero name than Black Lightning.
Black Trish. I hate you so much.
Come on, that's so much. No, Matt Christie said that in the chat.
No, I know, but I hate you for it. Black Lightning
Come
and
on.
Static Shock are two separate characters. We was Zeus,
Okay.
Kangs. Give them a moment. They just leveled up. Jesus Christ.
Yes, we did. Okay, but can you blame me for thinking they were the same character? They have like similar, like their
Yes, that's
costumes,
racist.
like have a similar like color scheme and stuff. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to them. Of course, you'll blame me.
I don't know why audio is just not coming through the OBS right now. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. I have to figure it out after the show. It makes me so upset. What are you gonna do?
Of course. Yeah.
Probably just a fucking. Wait a minute. Can I?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Do I hear myself when I do this? No. No. Maybe it's this.
Boomers rise up. Oh, my back.
Nope, that doesn't do it.
There we go. That's chat of the night right there.
Reparations. Jesus Christ. God damn it,
Yeah, I
Knox.
was going to read that one.
Look, we have a Streamlabs link below if you wanna say those kinds of things.
No, if you want to make him say those kinds of things.
Well, I guess I have one more article to look at.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, Malaysia
Black
bans
eel.
China Belt and Road comic for promoting communism, which, as much as we've heard from Blizzard and about China in recent times, I figured this would be interesting. But Terms of Trade is a daily newsletter that untangles a world of embroiled in trade wars. Sign up here, which I'm not going to do. Malaysia has banned a local comic book about Ninja. Do I pay you to think? Malaysia has banned a local comic book about China's Belt and Road project, citing threats to public peace and security. The book, featuring Prime Minister, I'm going to fuck this up, Mahathir Mohamad and President Xi Jinping shaking hands on the cover, promotes communism and social... Oh, God. I just fucked it all up. Promotes communism and socialism. Malaysia's Home Ministry said in a statement, it attempts to evoke sympathy towards communists and could sow doubt and confusion among readers, it added. Anyone caught flouting the ban could face up to 3 years in prison or a 20,000 ringgit, which is about $5,000 fine, or both. So 3 years in prison and $5,000. A 5-member team from the ministry seized 13 copies from a comic museum in Penang State on Thursday. God damn it. Police have recorded a statement from the comic book author. The Prime Minister's office last Friday acknowledged the book, Belt and Road Initiative for the Win-Winism, had gone viral on social media and disavowed any links to it. The Education Ministry has similarly denied approving the book's circulation in schools. The issue underscores the tightropes that Mathathir's government must walk in appeasing China to get investments, while not appearing to sell out to their constituents. China is Malaysia's largest trading partner. Why is the goddamn scroll on this book so terrible? The Southeast Asian country earlier this month announced that it was forming a special investment channel with China to boost trade. I believe China will wield a great influence over the whole world in the future, but for the moment, it is not for us to promote Chinese ideas or Chinese ideologies, but to find out how we can benefit from that, Mahathir said in a forum earlier this week. So, we actually have somebody trying to stand against China in the midst of all of this fucking Hong Kong debacle and all of that bullshit.
Which is shocking.
Good Lord. Like I said, Nova, bro, our Streamlabs is in the description below if you wanted to read anything that you put out. China doesn't want you to stream this article. China number 4. Hong Kong number 1. Taiwan number 1. Oh, man. No, I 100% agree. Hong Kong number 1, Taiwan number 1, China number 4. Oh, so good. So, what did we decide on? Unbound and Marauders? What should we review first?
Yeah.
Taiwan number 2.
I don't know. Didn't we lead with? we led with X-Men last week, didn't we?
Yeah. So let's go through Unbound this week.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a strange one for me. This is issue 1 of 4, or 1 of 5, in a Zenoscope series that doesn't seem like a lot of cheesecake.
I was surprised that you suggested a Zenoscope book.
Look, I am not, disenfranchised from any indie publisher out there. I just don't like cheesecake comics. And when I looked at this one, I didn't see egregious amounts of cheesecake. Cheesecake, for those uninformed, are basically comic books that have half-naked women in them for the sake of having half-naked women in them. Am I wrong?
As you do.
I mean, there's a time and a place for it, but to be reviewed on YouTube, I don't think so.
And that's what would get us banned.
Right. All right, there we go. So, this book basically takes place with, I don't know, what would you describe it? 2 bounty hunters on an unnamed mission to track down some kind of target.
Yeah, it was really strange at the start. I wasn't quite sure what exactly was going on.
But it paid off, didn't it?
It did.
All right. So, give me your thoughts on this. I'm not actually going to be listening to them, but I'll be right back.
Well, overall, it was definitely intriguing. It has kind of a weird, sci-fi horror, I think is what they're going for.
I lied about not actually listening.
Kind of how I read it as.
I lied about not actually listening, but yeah, I would say it would be more more action sci-fi. Not there wasn't really a horror element to it, I don't think.
Well, it seemed like it could go that way with the ending.
No, I don't want to spoil it, but the ending just kind of reminded me of, an adult version of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
But
yeah, overall it was definitely a really fun read, super interesting, had me hooked the entire time.
right, and there wasn't any egregious flaunting or nudity in it.
Right.
I mean, there were provocatively clothed individuals, but nothing major. You start out with
And that weird scene with Abraham Lincoln.
I think that's more setting the stage than anything. Pie cake. Would that make Cyberfrog a pie cake comic? Oh, Jesus Christ. We got a revolt in chat. Cheesecake, pie cake.
Oh.
Wish there was a good
no.
place to stream from. Like, stream.me was like before their Chinese corporate overlord stepped on it. Well, lemons are lemons. I mean, we could go to D Live if we have to. If we get banned.
True.
But we haven't gotten there yet.
We'll be on stream.me tomorrow.
Stream.me's gone, dog. We'll be on Mixer tomorrow. But anyway, you open up with the main bounty hunter, which is the African American gentleman on the cover, and he's got kind of all kind of hangers on that mention him throughout the story. Like, he meets a couple of guys at the bar that buy him a drink because they're envious of him. We find out his name is Lucas with a K because that's badass now. And he's summoned for a job. And he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to need some new gear, whatever you got, the best there is. And he picks a couple of guns. He's like, okay, well, I need a Falcon 50 cal, some silver ammo, an S-Tech 18 dual pump, which I assume is the shotgun. And then he gets into what must be like a Jaguar of his era, which is a flying car. And runs off talking about how famous he is and the notoriety has gained him and how cool that is. So pretty much just setting your expectations up to this being like a real badass dude, right? He flies
And
off
is it
to...
a Jaguar or more of like a Cadillac from the 50s with those giant fins on the back?
I'm saying a modern day Jaguar with flying capabilities just because it's an expensive car. A Cadillac isn't an expensive car anymore. You got to get a fucking Lotus or an El Diablo or some shit like that. An Audi, I think, is a low-end good car.
I mean, but it's got like the fins, makes me think of the, the late 50s, early 60s, like big ass.
That's really your input on this. No, undo. Oh shit, Matt Christie. I didn't. Okay, let me make sure I didn't. No. Okay.
Huh?
Okay. It apparently you can still. Can everybody still see Matt Christie's messages? Refresh your browser. I accidentally clicked something because everything's terrible.
Uh-oh.
I think I fixed it, but just refresh your browser.
Oh, that let's see.
By the way, the British should not be allowed to build automobiles. mean,
I can see him.
Okay, good. I've been accidentally clicking shit all night. That's kind of my gig. So, he goes on this hunt because obviously he's a, what? How did you get unmodded? Jesus Christ. Apparently I just fucked everything up.
Jeez.
I apologize, Matt Christie. It was not intentional. I've had too much whiskey. Blame it on my toothache.
There you go.
It's a real thing. I haven't been able to sleep all week because of it. So, but we pick up with the bounty hunter. The guy you see, he's in the Cadillac Jaguar type vehicle. He's met up with a woman with a pink and purple mohawk. I have to work on that English garbage and make great tools to cars.
Even Mr. Church is calling you out. I'm canceling Matt.
Oh, fucking hell. I deserve it. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. I use a trackball. Can I blame it on the trackball and the fact that I've ingested too much alcohol? Yeah, Matt Christie, I accidentally clicked on hide
a trackball?
Yeah, you don't know what a trackball is?
No, I know what it is. Like the little nipply thing in the middle of the keyboard to move the mouse?
No. That's a trackpad.
Oh.
I have a trackball mouse. Instead of the ball or the laser being underneath the mouse, where you move it around with your hand and your wrist, you operate the ball with your thumb, and your pointer and your middle finger are the fingers you use to, use the left and right click button.
Weird. Sounds obnoxious.
Yeah, it kind of is, but you don't, stress your wrist or your fucking elbow or anything.
Fair enough.
Well, I accidentally, clicked on one of your posts and hid you from the chat. And I fixed it immediately and made everyone, told everyone to refresh their YouTube chat or their YouTube viewing. And Mrs. Church called me. Yeah. Yeah, you get it now. But anyway, back to the comic. You're introduced to Lucas, who's driving the badass car, and he's met with the manager haircut woman, and she wants to go with him, and he charges her 2,000 credits up front to follow him along. Did you just call it a boomer mouse? Really? Oh my god. All the hate in the chat. They voted for me, but they're hating on me. By God, I love the chat. I do too, Novel Brown. That's why I do this show.
I mean,
Anyway.
Isn't the chat supposed to hate the host of a show? Isn't that how it works?
I think so. Okay. And if anybody's allowed to call out my alcoholic tendencies, it's them. But this chick with blue and pink hair joins Lucas's party, I guess. And in the midst of joining up with him, they have to pay him 2,000 credits in order to follow him along. Oh my god. So she pays him 2,000 credits. She follows him along. He takes out the main bad guys of the entire, situation. the henchmen, all that good shit. But you find out about this other character's playing in the background. Oh, with 3D mouse. That's pretentious. there's there's another player in this particular game that's being played in this comic book series, and he basically looks like Death with a hood over his face. So he confronts this guy to find out where a character named Onyx is. And when the guy won't tell him and pulls out a shotgun, this guy basically uses his sword to cut off this other guy's arm. Both of them.
As you do.
I mean, that's exactly what I would do. But,
Yeah.
He finds the information he needs and shows up in a room where a couple are, I guess, tag teaming Abe Lincoln. Is that what's happening?
I think the guy and Abe Lincoln are tag teaming the chick.
I think you're wrong. But that's not the main attraction.
You can't really tell.
We're not going to show that.
But I was...
There's a threesome with a black guy and Abe Lincoln and a white chick.
I was so confused.
I mean, I think everybody that reads this book are going to be, but it just kind of says that the X-Men guy not the X-Men guy, the Death guy doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Why is my desktop audio just not playing? I don't understand that. Oh, that explains a lot. Try this. Nope.
Did you just go down a boomer level?
Oh, absolutely. I don't understand why nothing's playing. So that finally played.
What?
I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. I hate everything. But this death type character is following characters around in the game and looking for a person named Onyx. And he finds them and kills them. Well, our bounty hunter completes his task and is essentially betrayed by the girl that offered to follow him, so to speak.
Never trust a girl with a pink and blue mohawk.
Yeah, never trust a girl with colored hair, I would say. But
nah, yeah, they're crazy. It's because that hair dye just like seeps into their skull and like amplifies the crazy.
So she essentially kills him by paralyzing him in the back of the neck and then shooting him in the head and stealing his mark. But we also find out that the other character, the death character, has killed his mark in the actual video game that we find out this is all a simulation. Once a bounty hunter from the beginning is killed, he wakes up as a young boy with a VR headset and, gloves and all that shit on. But the other guy that was killed was literally killed in the real world as well in the game. So.
Yeah, which is when it got super weird, but like I'm kind of hooked on it now.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking for issue 2 of this. It was unexpected. Like, usually I judge a Zenoscope book by its cover. I'm not going to lie. But these books, I mean, the Unbound looks like it's going to be a decent title.
Yeah, it definitely took a different twist than what I thought was going to happen. Like I thought it was going to be just like straight up like space age type sci-fi, like 300 years in the future sort of deal. I was not expecting
You didn't
the
expect the
ending of this
Ready.
one.
You didn't expect the Ready Player One aspect of it, then.
Right. And yeah, I'm really curious as to where they're going to go with it. Because like our main character, I guess, is Lucas, like, he's swearing up a storm after he gets killed. Like, I lost everything, all my XP, all my gear,
Right.
yada,
It took
yada,
him.
yada.
It took him 2 years to become the best bounty hunter, etc.
Yeah. And so I don't, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just super curious as to what's going to happen next. I'm totally hooked on this one.
Right. And that it kind of goes against everything that I criticized Zenoscope for on the last stream that we did, but that's the thing. Like, usually their books are nothing but like cheesecake and comic book boobies, and that's
Yeah.
as a grown guy, like, that's not my thing. I don't care. Like, I'm not looking to comic books and cartoons to get my rocks off. But this had
Right.
no egregious like cheesecake. This had no egregious like I'm selling this book based on the cleavage factor, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely enjoyed this one a lot.
so as we'll have for the next couple of weeks, I think, and
Yeah.
I think honestly we should probably look at every one of these as they come out weekly because
We probably should.
this weekly comics being what it is. But we've got Marauders #1. Now, this is the first
I have
new.
a feeling we're going to disagree on this one,
What do you think?
but
You think so? I liked it.
I don't know. You did like it.
I did.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I liked it actually a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was, and it's decent, and they explain it fairly well. The thing that I don't necessarily appreciate is the fact that, the blatant Iceman being gay memes.
Yeah, yeah, they did make Iceman a little too gay.
Yeah. And bringing back the original Pyro was nice.
Yeah, that was cool. Especially well, we should probably get into it.
Well, I
Into the
mean,
story before we start diverging.
if you want to go ahead and start.
All right. Let me get that pulled up real quick because I'm so good at being prepared for this.
Watch what happens when I put them on the spot,
Alphabetical
folks.
order. Huh?
I said, watch what happens when I put them on the spot, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
There it is.
this comic is
Yeah.
the beginning. Well, not the beginning. It's the second entry of Jonathan Hickman's X-Men universe, but it's the first book in the X-Men universe that's not written by Jonathan Hickman. Previously,
Yeah, which
we've
did
looked
make
at,
me nervous.
Yeah, previously we've looked at House of X and Powers of X and X-Men #1, all written by Jonathan Hickman. However, this book is written by, let me look, Gary Dugan, which is also one of the primary writers of Crazy #1. Illustrated by Matteo Lally and colored, I assume, by Federico Brulli. But basically it focuses around Kitty Pryde, aka Kate Pryde. And this book seems to be focused more around the idea of her losing the nickname Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, that part was a little bit weird. I don't know if it's kind of like her trying to like grow out of like the childish nickname.
I think more or
I
less.
guess.
I think more or less it was the idea that she couldn't get into Krakoa, but she was recruited by the White Queen, and I think she's been
Yeah.
revealed to be the quote unquote Red King of the Krakoan.
In the
Yeah,
Council of Krakoa.
right. I think
That's
she, I think she's the
cause,
Red King Queen type person.
yeah, because this takes place actually before,
No,
or kind of in the
no,
middle of the
no.
events of House
This
of
is
X, I guess.
this is after. No, this is everything so far has taken
Well,
place. Like Marauders #1 takes
well, it
place
says not.
after Powers of X
It
number
says not
six.
long ago in the opening, though.
Well, that's because she realized she couldn't get through. Once she got to the island on a boat, she was in modern times.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, once she started drinking Wolverine's liquor.
But yeah, basically, her, Storm, and Nightcrawler uh, bringing mutants from New York and Central Park back into Krakoa, and for some reason, Kitty can't go through the portal. Krakoa is not letting her, so
And
she
my
steals a boat.
my thoughts on this is she didn't steal a boat. She contracts a boat that's carrying Wolverine's cargo. Um, but my thoughts on this is basically the fact that there's a sixth dimension of Krakoa, so to speak, where Moira lives, and Kitty Pryde
Yeah,
can go pretty much anywhere she fucking wants to, right?
yeah.
Well, that's kind of a problem for Moira. If she's supposed to be dead, Kitty Pryde
All right.
discovering her.
I forgot about that detail.
Yeah.
So that does make a little bit more sense.
So maybe Moira is you know, keeping Krakoa from accepting Kitty Pryde. But she's recruited some friends, including Iceman, who I believe is still gay. Pyro,
Well, you're
the original, one
you're
of the.
you're skipping
Then fucking
a
correct
couple of
me.
parts here, though.
Well, then fucking correct me. I mean, that's what this show's
I
about.
am correcting you.
Okay, well, then do it.
So, so this boat takes a while. When she finally gets to the island, Wolverine comes busting out and sprints to the ship and walks back out with a keg of beer on his shoulder and a crate of something, which I'm assuming are cigars or more beer or whiskey. And then we get, and you have to pull this one up, Wolverine's, or it says Logan's shopping list.
Oh yeah, those are both on the same page, so we're good.
Okay.
So Logan's shopping list concludes of ribs, Canadian Club whiskey, suds, Cubano sandwiches, pomade, and coffee. And with that hairstyle, Wolverine definitely needs pomade. So
And it says the Dapper Dude won, and keep that under your hat.
Well, I don't
And
know if any guys
he also says
remember.
he's trying to get Cypher to convince Krakoa to grow coffee on the island, but so far he hasn't had any luck. Anyways, now we can move on. After she's so she gets recruited by Emma Frost to basically captain a ship to go and rescue mutants that are kind of held down from getting to the portals by various governments around the world, Russia, Brazil, and so on. So
Right. And
now
this is
we can go on to her
specifically
recruiting.
right. This is specifically the countries that did not accept the X Pact
Right.
that was set by Professor Xavier and Magneto in the beginning, where
Yeah.
they introduced the life-saving and life-altering drugs, etc., including China and Russia and a lot of other, small countries in Africa that were under the economic protection of Wakanda.
Yeah. But they're not going to flat out say China.
But, Iceman goes through a portal that doesn't get a lot of traffic and doesn't come back. And in the meantime, Kitty Pryde is whisked away by Emma Frost, where she explains the need of someone to man her quote-unquote ship, which is basically a yacht with a 50 caliber machine gun mounted to the front of it.
I mean, it is the Hellfire Club, so
Well,
what else would you expect?
She sends Kitty Pryde out on a yacht with her dragon to different countries and whatnot, but Iceman is over in Russia and is confronted by a knockoff Iron Man, which let me pull that up real quick. We've got a screenshot for that.
Yeah, who it turns out his suit actually releases a pulse that dampens their mutant powers.
Right. So no matter who confronts
so
him, their
getting
mutant
defrosted.
Right. So
yeah,
he jumped back through the portal and explains to everyone that he was depowered, and there's pun aside, a mutinous country over in Russia. And then Bishop is discovered in what, Tibet? No, Taiwan. Taipei, Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Confronting the leader who was giving a speech. And then we find out that the original Pyro is one of the members of the yacht, along with Storm, Kate Pryde, and Iceman. And they, go and disable the entire Russian initiative using their own weapons against them, stealing swords, phasing rifles into the legs of soldiers, walking through tanks and pulling soldiers out of them without killing anyone, just maiming the shit out of them.
Right.
But
and I love that part where she phases the rifle into into the guy's knees and then releases it. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah. But yeah, basically we find out that her job is essentially piloting the ship, being the captain, and heading up the quote-unquote Marauders, of the new X-Men Krakoan universe. So this is, and I'm going to be frank here, this is essentially what I call a perfect issue. Um, it has action, it has intrigue, it has a plot device, it has a cast. Like everything about this issue is perfect. It sets itself up well for a second issue. It
Yeah.
links in well enough to an ongoing storyline that it can continue it. Um, all in all,
It's a bandage, fat neck. That's what's on her nose.
yeah, she broke her nose trying to walk into a Krakoan portal. That's Nox, by the way. Fat neck is Nox.
Yeah, he just likes changing his name in the chat, doesn't he?
I mean, you just got to keep up with his avatar. No.
Wait, so no SJWBS?
There honestly doesn't seem to be a whole lot in here, except for the fact that they've already called the quote unquote unnamed member of the council the Red King, and I think it's her. I think that Kitty Pryde is the Red King, aka Kate Pryde.
Yeah, which I can definitely see that, especially when you have Emma Frost telling her like, I remember when you used to, dress in whatever the like the
white and blue or whatever,
black,
cream and blue.
Yeah, the black and blue, but you know, paint the town red or whatever she said, something to that effect. And then we see Kitty wearing like a red scarf as they're taking out the Russians and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely see that could be a possibility. But it does have a lot of like intriguing kind of mystery behind like kind of the high adventure action sort of trappings, which I really like.
Well, I remember, let's see. First off, keep talking. I'm looking.
What'd you remember?
The actual conversation.
Oh yeah,
Fire Company,
which was
Raiders.
That's kind of another thing that I think we glanced over is kind of that back and forth
I
between.
recall your white leotard and big blue blouse ensemble. And I also saw the most hideous photo of you in leggings and roller skates. You were ravishing red. Put yourself in my hands, you deserve it. And then her dragon basically woos in the background there. A woo. That's for you, buddy.
I mean, her dragon is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Lockheed's the best.
I want a pet dragon that just chills on my shoulder.
Well, I mean, you're not Targaryen enough. You have brown hair. But that's pretty much the episode, I think. I may do some Fallout New Vegas if anybody's still awake. Once I get done smoking my cigarette, using the restroom, all that good stuff.
Do some after hours.
Yeah, possibly. I'll get you in the after hours to
after hours.
Record some video and make sure you can access the files to actually finish the videos. Because I looked at the software today and I was just like, I don't have the patience to learn new Adobe software. But that's just me.
Yeah, like I said, if we do it all audio,
And then I send you the
I can do
images
that
to
'cause
splice in.
yeah, because then I can put the audio in GarageBand and divide it up, and then just layer the audio into iMovie with the proper images for the background. It'll be a piece of cake that way.
I hate you so much. But anyway, that's pretty much it for us tonight, and I appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Thanks everybody in chat: Danielle, Matt, Knox, Novel Bro, Cartoon. Am I missing anybody? I think that's about everybody that showed
Well,
up in
is that
chat.
everybody?
You, Mrs. Church.
I think that is.
But
You guys are the best chat.
the absolute best. We appreciate
Ch-
you.
China
China,
wishes they
China
had our
number
chat.
4. China number 4. Hong Kong number 1. Taiwan number 2. But anyway, appreciate you guys and have a great night.
Good night, everybody.